Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. As you can tell, I am going to be doing a book haul today with 4 books, and I'm very excited about all of these books, as I usually am about all of the books that I buy. I usually am the most excited about a book when I have purchased it, just after purchasing it. And then with time, slowly that excitement fades as I put it on my bookshelf, and then it just blends in with the masses and I kind of forget that I own it until I actually take the time to look through all of my books and then pick out what I'm going to read next, you know? That was a very long and unnecessary intro, but anyway, we're going to get into my book haul. The first book, I'm going to have to put some of these down. We'll put them down here. So the first book I have is a book that I bought when I went to Cologne, which you saw parts of in my vlog last week. The museum that I went to, the Museum Ludwig, had, obviously, as most museums do, they have a gift shop. And what do you do when you're at a museum? You exit through the gift shop. And when I was there, the gift shop is also a bookshop, if you couldn't tell by my not explaining that, but you know, in my brain sometimes I don't explain things properly because half of my explanation happens in my head while I'm speaking, and then I only realize afterwards that I didn't actually explain what I was trying to explain. Anyway, there was a bookshop / gift shop. I went in there. I bought 2 postcards while I was there. The one is of an Ursula painting, which I showed in the video, but I will put a picture of it up on screen. And then the other one is the kind of Art Deco style. Where is my... This was not meant to be a postcard haul, but anyway, the other one is this Art Deco style postcard of Le Gourmandise by Georges Barbier, however you pronounce his name. They did not have this at the museum. They didn't have a painting or a physical copy of this, but I found it in the gift shop, and I'm a fan of this kind of 1920s Art Deco style of drawing, so I picked it up. Anyway, that was... Sometimes I just need to stop myself from rambling before I go on a ramble so that I can get to the point. Anyway, the book that I bought was Why Have There Been No Great Women Artists by Linda Nochlin. She was a Lila Akerson or Akeson Wallace Professor Emerita of Modern Art at the New York University Institute of Fine Arts. She wrote extensively on issues of gender in art history and on 19th century realism. Her numerous publications include Women, Art and Power, Representing Women, Courbet, Women Artists, and Misery. And then it says here, Catherine Grant is Reader in Modern and Contemporary Art and Dean for Education at the Courtauld Institute of Art. Why do all of these institutes have to have such complicated names? She has published extensively on feminist histories in contemporary art and is the co-editor of Girls, 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 Creative Writing and Art History, and Fandom as Methodology. So I think Catherine Grant is the editor here. This is also the 50th anniversary edition. So this was originally published in 1970 something. When was this originally published? Oh, it has an introduction by Catherine Grant. 1971. Yes, okay. Then it says here, Linda Nochlin's landmark essay heralded the dawn of a feminist history of art. It remains fundamental to any appreciation of art today. At once challenging and enlightening, it is never less than fully engaging, enticing the reader to question their own assumptions and to set off in new directions. Nochlin refuses to handle the question of why there have been no great women artists on its own corrupted terms. Instead, she dismantles the very concept of greatness, unraveling the basic assumptions that created the male-centric genius in art. With unparalleled insight, Nochlin lays bare the acceptance of a white male viewpoint in art historical thought as not merely a moral failure, but an intellectual one. In this standalone anniversary edition, Nochlin's influential essay is published alongside its reappraisal 30 years after. Written in an era of thriving feminist theory as well as queer theory, race, and post-colonial studies, 30 years after is a striking reflection on the emergence of a whole new canon. With reference to Louise Bourgeois, Cindy Sherman, and many more, Nochlin diagnoses the state of women and art with unmatched passion and precision. Why have there been no great women artists? Has become a rallying cry that resonates across culture and society. Nochlin's message could not be more urgent. As she herself put it in 2015, there is still a long way to go. So there you have it, a little bit of non-fiction or philosophy or thought, a think piece, if you will, on the idea of great women artists and why there have been none according to society. That was my first book. Then I ordered some books on the internet because, as I mentioned a couple of videos ago, I was looking for a copy of To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf, and I went to the bookshop in town. Suffice to say, their English book section is dismal, but I mean, it is in Germany, and predominantly the people here read books in German, so why should they not have, obviously, more books in German than they do in English? They don't have the types of books that I like to read in the English book section. There were a couple of books that I saw there that looked intriguing to me. I think they were all non-fiction as well. But as for the fiction section of their English section, it's not really my cup of tea. So I ordered the books that I wanted online, and now I'm going to talk to you about them. Starting with, of course, To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. This is the most beautiful cover, well, maybe not the most beautiful, but one of the most beautiful covers of To the Lighthouse I have ever seen. I really like this modern art style of drawing, or cover, if you will. And in the back here, I mean, even just look at the inside of this dust jacket, but in the back you have all of the other covers of her other works. Well, not all of her works, but I mean the most popular ones, the novels, if you will, the great big ones. You have Orlando, The Years, The Waves, Mrs. Dalloway, To the Lighthouse, and A Room of One's Own. And I would like to buy all of these. All of these books in these covers. I also really like the format of these books. It's a little bit short and a little bit wider than a regular book. And I don't know, I like this format. I mean, I'll see how it is when I'm actually trying to read it. The covers for the vintage classic Woolf series have been created by the artist Aino Maya Metsola. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right. I'll have to go and look up this artist after finishing this video to go and see who they are, what else they do. And yes, so now I have a copy of To the Lighthouse. I'm going to be reading it sometime soon, sooner rather than later, hopefully. And then Friend, if you are watching this, you know who you are, because I mentioned you in previous videos. If you're not this friend that I'm supposedly talking through my camera, what are you doing? What are you doing listening in on our private conversation? No, I'm kidding. I will share my thoughts with you, obviously, once I have read this book. I will share my thoughts with my friend, and then also with you, the internet. I will share my thoughts. Maybe my friend will get more thoughts because she will ask questions and she will pick my brain. You will just get general thoughts, and probably me saying, it's Virginia Woolf, it's one of my favorite things on this planet. That's probably what I'm going to say. Anyway, then, next up, I have The Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. This book, I think, is very timeless. I think it's very important for me to read this book this year, and I want to make a video about this book, or I want to make a video that includes this book and a couple of others that I will mention in that video. But I'm really looking forward to reading this book. I've known about this book for years and years and years. But I never knew what it was about. And then this year, strangely enough, if you've read this book, you'll know why it's strange. Strangely enough, this year I found out what this book is about. And I just thought it's the perfect timing to read this book. It's a sign that I need to read this book this year. So I'm going to read it this year. Hold me to that. I will, because I will be making a video about it. So, then lastly, this book is not in English. This book is in German. And this book I have already read, technically, because I read the English copy that I have in South Africa. And that is called, the English copy of this is called The Method. And it is one of my favorite books that I have ever read. It is one of my favorite stories. I loved it so much that when I found out that the original was written in German, I thought, well, I speak German. I can read in German sometimes. Why don't I read the original one as well? So that's what I'm going to do. I don't know when I'm going to be reading this. This is not a high on my priority list because, as I said, I've already read an English copy of this. But I really want to read it in German as well. And that's all, really. That's all. I could tell you about all the books that I have added to my e-reader, but I don't have my e-reader at the moment because it's with my sister, because she is reading a book on my e-reader. I feel like I'm going to start calling it our e-reader because I feel like we're going to be switching it back and swapping it back and forth quite often to read books and stuff on it. So it's going to be our e-reader from now on. It's just me. It belongs to me and my sister. Yes. So I'm very excited about my stack of books. I haven't done a book haul it actually hasn't. Well, I did one at the start of this year, I think. So it hasn't been that long, but it feels like it's been an age. Because I think in South Africa I used to do a lot more book hauls because I could get books for a lot cheaper because I worked at the bookshop, and also just because I'm now realizing that books in South Africa are actually not that expensive depending on what you're buying. Yes. I'm gonna go now. It's late when I'm filming this, as you can probably tell by this wonderful lighting. The light outside is fading. You can probably hear a lot of birds in the background and car noises. I'm sorry, I didn't think of that before I started filming right in front of my window that is open slightly. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you have read any of these books without spoiling them, obviously except for this one because I've read this one. But without spoiling them, if you've read them, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your general feeling about these books. And if you have recently acquired any new books, then tell me about them as well, because I want to be excited with you for all the new books you've bought, for all of the sound monetary decisions that we are making together in buying books. Okay, cool. Thank you for being here. I will see you all again next week with another video. Cheers.